Morning all, happy first day of the month as well. Nice morning game against the WGM. Okay, Sicilian defence. Let's try the Smith-Morra gambit, because with this Rxd8 bind idea in particular that I mentioned yesterday. So I'm delaying the recapture of the pawn to try and set up the Rxd8 bind. I wonder Queen G4 here because the bishop's left G7 actually. Is that a bit of a cheeky move? But then Queen F6. So I don't know. But then if I allow Knight F6, it's never going to happen. Queen G4, Queen F6, Bishop D2 maybe. So okay, I'm going to go for that. I'm going to test this. Bishop B4. Okay, now Bishop D2. Okay, so maybe I'm making the opponent a bit nervous about not recapturing on E5 for considerable time, which will be good. Maybe F4, E5 would highlight D6 weakness. Okay, I'll go here. That's interesting as well. So provoking some more weaknesses. Types of players are usually very hesitant to move any pawns. Okay, Queen E3 maybe. What's wrong with just taking on D3? In fact, if the queen's further harassed. In fact, Bishop C5 would be kind of dangerous on F2, so I've got to be very careful about this. So maybe F3 here, in fact, to stop any knights, Knight G4s. So, am I going to sort of take that D3 pawn one day, or am I going to play E5? Okay, I'll take it with the queen because now Bishop C5 is getting pretty strong. And now back to the plan, castle queenside plan. Knight E5, Queen C2. So that's alright. So this knight's kind of restricted. Maybe there's some weaknesses over here to exploit later. Do I want to try and evict that bishop A3? Or am I going to weaken my queenside B4, create some weaknesses, especially that C4 pawn? On the other hand, how do I sort of develop the pieces here? I don't know, you know. So C4 is going to be a target anyway. Alright, I'm going to ask that bishop where it's going, I think. And I think King B1 might threaten Knight D5 and Bishop takes A5. If my opponent isn't careful, so which she is. So how about, I don't know, Knight B5 here? Is the light squared bishop useful to have? C4 is going to be a big problem very shortly. So maybe, you know, Knight B5 actually to dissolve C4 because it attacks D6 now. If I get the dark square bishops off, hopefully D6 is going to be a bit weaker. In fact, why didn't I do Knight takes D6 there? No, I couldn't have. That's fine. Fine so far. So anyway, I've dissolved C4, but I've got the double pawns now. I've got the light square bishop as compensation. I really need to develop these pieces though. So maybe Knight H3 here. Starting to develop them. So now I wonder if Bishop E2 to be able to play F4 soon. At least my rooks will be connected, and F2's guarded by that knight at the moment. If I can actually double up rooks on D6, maybe that would be good. Queen B3, A6 is a bit concerning, but then maybe rook, the other rook to D1, attacking D6 immediately. Okay, so hopefully this is okay, just to attack D6. Now, do I risk playing F4? But then there's Knight G4. Or Knight G5 is a nice weakness to sort of play with. In fact, allowing AB, Queen B5, but then Queen E3. So, I don't know, maybe just Rook or Queen B4 attacking D6 again. Queen B4 looks good. I'll try that. Okay, so can I try and gain some time on the clock as well, or not? Or is it? I'll take the risk of trying to push the boundaries of my clock time here, because I've been being bashed up from the title players a lot recently through you know, an inaccurate move, totally like punished tactically, especially pawn moves, it seems, you know. So okay, attacking the queen again, maybe just queen d4. So I'm trying to just target d6. So that was one of the ideas of me playing this gambit anyway, that d6 might be a weakness. So I'm hoping now, I mean, this is a nice central queen, and d6 is a nice juicy target. So how's d6 protected? It's not. Okay. So this is good news so far. Can I just go for this ending then? Calling bluff on this ending. Okay. f4 maybe? And I really want to start centralising this knight maybe to d3 and bringing the king maybe to a4 or provoking b6. So I don't know, b4 here keeps the knight out. Maybe that's a useful move. But I get the double pawn, so it's not that great at the moment. But maybe bishop c4 and f5 is dangerous. So I'll try that with the potential threat of f5 if my opponent isn't careful. Okay, now the knight coming to d3 should be a good idea. So centralising the knight. Now if I can get my king up. Oh dear, except I've just lost a pawn. Oh dear. So okay, I'll keep the bishop over here. How many other pawns am I going to lose? I'll try knight c... Oh no, knight c5 would lose yet another pawn. So not great at the moment. I thought I was going to play this ending reasonably well, but okay, I'll try and hang on to this pawn. If knight b6, king b3, so just about hanging on, I think. Or am I going to lose the bishop in some sick way? Anyway, if I'm not going to lose the bishop, knight c5 is going to be useful. So knight c5, or maybe g3 first, but then h3 is really nasty. So I'm getting a mess here. But h3, maybe knight f2. So maybe all is not lost just yet. But my bishop is tied down. Okay, if h3, knight f2, I suppose this f2 pawn is a target. G3 pawn. It's an immediate target. So I'll have to move that. Can I actually use this bishop more effectively in this ending, rather than just stuck on a4? So king b2, and maybe bishop c1. I know there's lots of checks from these knights, which I don't like. Maybe, I don't know, bishop d1. If I take, I don't know actually. This e pawn's probably kind of dangerous. Okay. Time for b6, I think. Trying to use this this b pawn somehow. So if bishop d1 to f3, maybe I can target b7. So 18 seconds. Not too much time left for the WGM. Knight f2 actually seems to be useful to try and win a4. I don't know. All sorts of disasters are happening here for both sides. Not quite a disaster, but is it a sort of Zugzwang coming up? No, it's not. That's a shame. So I'll try and get this king aggressive again. Bishop f3. Oh dear, there was knight d2 there. Can I go for my king now after this fantastically played ending? Obviously the b7 pawn is clearly winning now. Avoid scenario of Yes. Interesting. So that was well played by both sides. Yes, nice morning game. Hope you enjoyed it. Please leave any comments or questions on YouTube. Oh dear.